What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the After You Cast. Sat down with one of my guys who is from the Slough area, doing big things, and this is what it's about. You know, this is about bringing people to the platform that come from where some of you come from, where I come from, where he comes from, and just promoting and showing that, you know, there's different versions of us, and we're in different spaces that a lot of people don't necessarily know about. So the key is to be able to bring these conversations to you, to be able to identify, hey, oh, look, I know somebody from there, I went to school with him, or I went to that school, or I know where he comes from. Do you know what I'm saying? And that, I think, is the real power in these conversations. Is, you know, Slough hasn't really had this, and I think it's important that it does. Just like any other town really promotes their artists, their creatives, their culture. You know, I think it's important that we have our own as well, you know. So with that being said, would you please introduce yourself to the people, my guy?
Of course, man. Thank you for the good introduction as well, man. Hi everyone. My name is Calvin Ruan. I am a 3D artist and capture technician, and I work for a company called Clear Angle Studios. We'll get a bit deeper into what we do as a company a bit later, but yeah, that's me at the moment, man. That's my job title. I'm an artist, freelance artist as well. I do a lot of illustrations and visual media as well, so yeah.
Wicked, bro. Nah, man, honestly, it's blessed to have you on here, brother. Real talk.
No, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
100%. Now, I know you said this is like one of your first pods jumping on, and like,
It is.
I find it's crazy because I was just like, see, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like, there's so many people out there that people don't really realize that are doing some incredible things, like behind the scenes. And because a lot of the work that we typically do is behind the scenes, it's the editing, it's the tireless looking at pixels on the screen and all of that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't really appreciate the work actually comes into or goes into it for that you guys can see it on the screen and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. You only see the actors really and truly, innit?
That's it.
Being film and stuff like
red
that.
Carpet, isn't it?
Exactly.
The red carpet, or just like, you know, the production, maybe the producers and some of the directors, the guys high up. But essentially, this is all about kind of breaking down the people behind those scenes and to showcase that, those people come from Slough too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, let's jump straight into it, brother. We always like to do the origin story on here because whenever I bring somebody on that the audience doesn't know, always like to let them know a little bit of a background, where you come from, what you do, all that sort of stuff. So
no problem.
Give us a little bit of a background on how you got into the work that you do now.
Okay. So just a bit about myself. I studied art and design at Burnham Upper School. That's where my secondary school was. And I did I did art and design there, came out with, you know, a diploma there. Then I went on to university to study illustration and visual media.
Nice.
Got my BA honours in that. First I did a foundation year actually before that.
Okay.
So I have a foundation diploma in art and design as well.
Nice.
So yeah, once I got my degree, I took like a year out just to figure out what I kind of want to do, because you know, uni's overwhelming, man. You need to take some time to yourself afterwards, honestly.
I'm telling you, man, that's like sleepless nights, all-nighters and all that.
I feel like I was losing hair at some point.
Bro, I can imagine.
Then one of my cousins works in the film industry, and I've always had an interest for film. I've always wanted to work in animation or do, you know, something creative within that field, because I've always been a visual learner. I've never been the type to, when I was younger at least, to take up a book, and if it didn't have images in it, more time I'm not reading it.
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I was definitely one of those kids that had to see to learn. Someone had to show me so that I could, like, you know, take up the skill. You know what I mean? So from young I've been interested.
So you was on encyclopedia, not dictionary.
Exactly, man. Those images, man, it makes a difference.
It's huge, man. It's huge.
I mean, it goes to show, you know, like, you need to accommodate for every type of person, because do you know what I mean? True. Because growing up, you might only have access to certain avenues where, like, people are giving you books, but then you're struggling because you learn in a different form. You know what I mean? You learn in a different way. So I think for me, it's always been visual.
Okay.
So from there, because I wanted to work in the film industry, luckily, fortunately enough, one of my cousins worked in the film industry.
Nice.
So
somebody in there that kind of family trusted.
I think it makes a difference. Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? And so I asked him, is there any opportunities going where I could, you know, start at the bottom, work my way up through the industry. You know what I mean? Where it's just getting your foot in the door. Do you know what I mean? It's building those connections once you're inside, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like, he's a data wrangler. So.
That sounds like a techie job.
It is a techie job. It's working with cameras. It's doing a lot of measurements on the set and stuff like that. And you have to be precise with a lot of things. There's a lot exactly. There's a lot of in and out. Like you have to be on your toes constantly with that job, man. But I don't know the technicality side of it. But he's broke it down a little bit to me, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not easy." But But yeah, he was like, he used to work with this guy called Dominic Ridley, who has now started a company in 3D scanning.
Nice.
So he got me in contact with him, and obviously because they work in the industry still, his company basically does the VFX scanning of actors, props, and places.
Nice.
Basically. So everything that you see get virtually made on computers and stuff like that has to get scanned at some point. Do you know what I mean? Because then they computer generate it later down the line. Do you know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So
a lot of people think that, like, from the outside looking in, you probably can just like sketch up and draw.
Yeah, it's not simple. Man. Like the imagination isn't that accurate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You need like precise measurements and stuff like that. So technology's come a long way as well. Even scanning, like from time I've been doing it, it's developed so much. So going back, he got me in contact with Dominic, and he invited me in, and I had an interview, and he offered me the job instantly, man. Yeah, there's a company called Clear Angle, as I mentioned earlier, and they focus on 3D scanning. So that's where the capture technician side of what I do gets involved. So to explain the job a little bit further, basically what we do is, quite like yourself, we work with cameras, but we set up this rig with roughly around 204 cameras, sometimes more, sometimes less. We got a few rigs around the world, to be honest. And we have the actors come in, and they'll, we will position them in a certain way, and then we will capture them basically with the rig, and then using those images, because we got them from every angle, we're able to build their 3D model using photogrammetry, basically. So it's
that's deep.
It's a lot of it I learned on the job as well, because I come from an art and design background. I knew like graphics, visual media and stuff like that, but this one is a very like niche job. It's not something that you'll just come across, you know what I mean? So 100%. A lot of it I had to learn on the job, but it was it's honestly, it's been such an amazing experience just working in the film industry alone. Like the amount of people I've met, the connections I've made, and I've only been there just over a year now. And I'm just getting started, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, bro. And you're a young man as well, and then this is what I'm saying, like it's a blessing obviously to get in and to see that, because sometimes as well, like, from my experience as well, like we'll get into this a little bit deeper. Obviously we've had a chance to work on a production together, but when you get a glimpse in behind the scenes truly of how certain industries work, we're talking about the film industry obviously, but like whether it's photography, the art industry, like in general, when you get a glimpse behind the scenes, it really does change your opinions and it does change your mindset.
Absolutely. I think growing up, art and design, a lot of people were like, oh, why are you doing art? Like, you know what I mean? You could be doing something more academic, you know what I mean? Like, kind of they want to be your family want you to be a doctor, lawyer, or something along those lines.
Even if it is art, it's like you can be an architect.
Exactly. It's where the money's at, do you know what I mean? But there's so many avenues to make money now, and like in today's day and age, like you just have to find it. And as I was saying, like to you earlier, like we didn't have the blueprint growing up, you know what I mean? We have to find and like carve our own way, our own paths. And I think it's beautiful that you do something like this podcast where we can kind of give that information back.
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's so important, man, because as you said, there's so many talented people in Slough alone, and we just haven't had those connections to even find out about these individuals. So say there is a kid out there that wants to work on like a Marvel movie and stuff like that. Bro, like, do you know what I mean? Like, we've done that now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're connected.
Exactly. We have done that now. That is that is amazing.
Yeah, bro, that's an unbelievable achievement.
Exactly.
And like you said as well, whether it comes from a connection, because a lot of the time, guys, like regardless of what industry you're working in, like you may think it's the most analytical industry in the world, like it's all about stats and figures and all of that, and it's, you know, my accomplishments. But the reality is, like, we're social beings first. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we work and operate based on the people in and around us, the ones who inspire us, the ones who actually like educate us, go out of their way to like add value to our lives. Do you know what I mean? So when you're able to kind of get to a point where you realize how that works, so like for example with us, we've got to see those great heights and see how it actually operates on the highest level. It's near impossible to go back to where you're from and not share that.
I think you're doing a disservice to people.
Facts.
If you're not providing, man. Like,
that's it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Like, if you don't give this back, it's just like, how can you not learn these things and then not be eager to want to share these again with the next young person?
Considering we didn't have that growing up, we would have loved that. Do you know what I mean? If someone came to me when I was younger and was like, yeah, I was working on this Marvel movie, like, I could teach you some stuff if you want to, and then, you know, build those connections. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, oh my days, I'm there every day.
Imagine the SYPC, somebody was just there talking about that.
Yeah, like doing a little like presentation or something like that. And you've actually, you know, your name is credited in a Marvel movie. It's nuts. Like,
yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? We grew up watching these things, and now we're working in
bro. And the thing is, you know what's mad as well? Like, we barely got to watch these things.
Man.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when we had the cable back in the days, and we didn't really get a chance to watch these. We watched them when they came out, of course, but we're talking after the fact it's come out.
We got Disney Plus now.
Yeah, we got Disney Plus, we got Disney Plus now. We got Hulu.
We didn't even have flat screen TVs, bro.
Listen, that big boxy thing.
Yeah.
So no, like. It's great to see how time evolves, and I said, man, I'm very much about storytelling. You know, obviously that's why I come from. My background's in the, you know, the photography world, which then evolved into video work, which is a natural progression.
I think so.
It's that storytelling, the art of storytelling. So like with this, it's very similar. And you know, my goal with this is to be able to inspire even just one person at a time per video. Some young person that's from endz, from Slough, that looks at it and says, man, I don't know what I want to do. I'm kind of into art and creativity, but like, where am I going to go?
Exactly that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I had the same problem growing up, like finding avenues, you know what I mean? But it's having those conversations with individuals that will make all the difference.
That's right.
Because they'll share ideas that you didn't even think of before. You definitely get mind block. I swear, I think as a creative, you get mind block all the time. I definitely do.
Yeah, me too.
Like when I'm trying to, you know, create illustrations or whatever, or people want me to be like so creative and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, like I need to change my environment. I need to do certain things to just get my head space set ready to, you know, create. And having conversations with people, it just sparks something in your mind. You know what I mean?
Trigger.
Yeah, it's literally out of nowhere.
We need triggers as people, positive ones. You know, we need those triggers that kind of inspire us and motivate us to get out there and, you know, build and create, and then create for others as well. Is what I'm trying to convince a lot more people to do, because there is value in it. I understand that we've come from a time where voluntary work, career, charity work, local community work has always been seen as like, you know, tertiary. Like we'll get to that later once we've built up our name. But I think what we're seeing now and today is like, it's even more important to turn back around and share the information that you've learnt with others, because everyone assumes they know because they're online. I could just get online, I'll Google it. It's just like, yes, but are you going to specifically Google that exact article that somebody else read or that piece of information? Probably not. You might get a different interpretation of it. So I think it's even more imperative in our social groups and our small groups, we share that information with each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, it goes further, I think. It just goes further, you know what I mean? When you're coming from someone that you recognise or grew up around as well, it hits home, really. Do you know what I mean?
Facts. It's all about that relatability, as I like to say.
Exactly.
Relatability.
Because when you see someone achieve something that you know, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I could do that. They came from the same place I came from. Went to the same school, got the same education. What is stopping me from achieving the same things?
That's big facts. That's big facts. So you said you've been in working specifically with your company for just over a year, coming up to a year now. So like, talk a little bit more about that experience per se. Like, you said that they specifically work on the 3D scans and those renders and things like that. So like, what specifically was your like first few days going into the industry like? What was it?
It was learning the systems and building the rigs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very hands-on job at times.
Okay.
And then it has its moments where it's easy and it's calm.
Okay.
So, say for example, my first job, again, fortunate enough to even have it, I got flown out to Budapest.
Nice.
Yeah, for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was working on 2 productions out there.
Wicked.
And I went with one of my colleagues, and I met him once before we actually flew out, because he was away on a job as well.
Okay.
Went out there, completely new experience. And that's another thing. You have to take risks, man.
Yeah.
Don't be scared, because I was worried. I was like, do I really want to be in another country for 3 months? Like, I don't know how that's going to be. What if I hate it? And I've made this commitment now. Do you know what I mean? Throw yourself in the deep end.
Yeah.
You will be surprised of what you can achieve when you throw yourself in the deep end.
Be surprised how well you can swim.
Exactly that. And
That's the thing.
you'll never progress if you do not come out of your comfort zone. Do you know what I'm saying? It's that unknown area that will create the new you, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That is important, man, and that is something that I've really been trying to do and implement into my life, especially within the last year, because that taught me that I need to come out of my comfort zone so badly.
Bro. I know.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And you can get caught up in it as well. Especially, see, the danger is as well. It's not necessarily people who are willing to look outside of the box. Typically, they will either have to overcome some hurdles, like some obstacles. But sometimes it's just like life's going nice for you, like you're good, but that can sometimes become the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it's weird to say, because it's like you feel like you're challenging yourself, you feel like you're going out of the way, but the reality is like things are now coming to you a little bit easier. So like you said, you have to take yourself out of your environment sometimes to be creative. You got to do different things. Like, I think what sometimes we have to do is that we have to forcibly do it, even if we think that we're sometimes in a state of comfort.
I think that even happens. I don't like, not to get too deep, but I feel on a spiritual level, I sometimes just get feelings that like I'm getting too complacent. I need to be doing more. I don't know. I need to now come out of my comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm getting too comfortable. I want change. I need that, progression. I don't know. Like. And it's just something that I just feel within myself that I need to be pushing myself now. Do you know what I mean?
I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
I feel you. No, it's important. And again, you can have that. Some people, you're lucky, obviously, because I'm very much the same. It's like self-determined. It's a case of I can kind of push and motivate myself.
Yes.
Whereas I do see a lot of the time, like in today's society, like because we have this social media everywhere, what it's done is it's permeated into society, and what it's done is it's sapped out a lot of the accountability from certain people. What it's done is it's given an option for everything. So there's an answer for everything. There's an answer for this. There's an answer for that. And everyone pretty much has an answer now.
It's excuses, isn't it?
Excuses, bro.
Excuses.
Everyone will say, "Oh yeah, no, I didn't do that because I did that." But no, I'm going to get to that because I know how to do this. And it's like
exactly
everyone sounds smart.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to sound smart, as opposed to saying, "Hey, look, like." No, like there are passions, there are uncomfortable things that you're gonna have to do, and I think if you're trying to live that life of like each day it just works for me, unfortunately that's when you get those long tough times, and they hit real hard.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Whereas like if you keep good people around you that keep you outside your comfort zone, it's about respect first too. So we don't want them people disrespecting each other out here, but the key is putting yourself outside of that box once in a while. And seeing how you work. Do you know what I'm saying? So I agree. Leading into the industry, so you said you got a chance to work abroad. That must have been a cool experience.
That was amazing.
But I want to hear a bit more about like the rigs and stuff, particularly because I've got a little glimpse behind the scenes, of course. But for the people out there, like, tell us a bit more about like how the rig's set up and how everything works in terms of to get these scans. Because I remember the first time I saw it was the games. Do you remember when they started wearing the suits? And they started scanning, but they didn't have like all the extra cameras. It was only a certain amount. But tell us a bit more about like the techie side behind that.
To get like technical, I know a lot of these terms will go over people's heads, but
there'll be some people out there.
It will. It was a long process for me to learn, and it's not something that you can definitely learn overnight. There's so many connections with this rig. It's incredible how it works. Like we set up, obviously we got first and foremost our cameras and that, but we have like different cameras for different things, different lenses, zooming in on certain parts of the body, you know. Photogrammetry only works when you get the coverage of everything. Do you know what I mean? You have to cover everything, and then we use a software called reality capture where we bring all those images in and create those 3D models.
Cool.
We clean up using a software called GeoWrap, and then we made do like ZBrush as well. That's where the 3D artist comes in, because we have to actually touch up certain things. You know what I mean? Some scans come out better than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, depending on what you're wearing as well. Color has a lot of things to do with it. Like, we have to expose for dark colors, expose for light colors. You know what I mean? Like, a person will come in, and we've been scanning like, as I said, we've worked on Marvel Productions Netflix series where people are doing like crazy stuff, and we're scanning aliens and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to be creative, and I think it's that that initiative that you have to take during the job to kind of get what you need to achieve. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that you can just set up a rig and just handle it, press a button and it's going to be, there's so many connections, and sometimes half the rig might even go down, and we have to be on the job. We got actors in there, we have to be fast paced, fixing it, quick to it. That's where the technician side of it comes in. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of connections to make this thing work, whether that's the
cables, wires,
you've seen it. It's crazy. Like, we've got megacells, nanocells. We've got like the amount of cables we've got, flashes, photo flashes, LED lights that we use. Everything needs to be perfect. And then we have like things within the rig that help the software build as well, which the little markers that we use on the platforms and stuff like that.
I know what you're talking about.
So there's so much.
It's a complex manual system.
It's very complex, and honestly, when I first started, I thought I was never gonna get all of this, but here a year later, over time, it just clicks one day, and it's just like, okay, so that's why we connect that with that. Do you know what I mean? That connects to that because of this. It's just this learning the whole process. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it can be overwhelming, but that's with any job, though. I feel like that
is true. The learning curve.
Exactly. It's always going to be overwhelming. You can't shy away from that. But you can overcome it 110%, man. You gotta throw yourself in the deep end, as we said.
That is facts, bro. Big facts. I mean, that's really interesting as well, like, in terms of, because I know there'll be people out there listening, because this is a cool thing when you get to piece together parts of the puzzle from other sides. It's really unique for people, because it can just like trigger something in their head where it just lets them know, oh, okay, cool, so that's perhaps how they do that. And then it's eye-opening. Like, on one side of it, you could kind of say, like, for us, takes away a little bit of the shine from the overall production itself, or whatever we're working on, because you're repeating, you're doing the same things.
100%. When you like watch the film, that it's like, oh my gosh,
and you're like, wow,
it's like
those moments. Okay, it's amazing to know that you was on it, but it's also sometimes like, oh damn, I'm glad we don't have to do that again.
You don't understand. Like, I'll be scanning some like props or something, and the props will be in like the film for like 2 seconds. I'm like, I spent 2 hours on that, like, you're like, hold on, wait. You need to just cut past that real quick. Man, it goes to show there's so much in film. That so much goes into a production, man. It's not an easy process, man. But
definitely not. I mean, that's one thing, like my personal experience working on it is getting to see how the different units work together in operation, because you see like maybe a small TV crew or a small little short film set crew. It's different because like, they'll have maybe one person allocated per role, and they only really pick up the most important ones. So like what we do, we're not really needed on small sets. To a certain extent,
it has to be big production.
It kind of needs to be big production because they're going all in, and then they start to pay attention to the 1%, and essentially that's what we do. We're the 1%ers. We're like, that's why you get mad. Like I will, that we'll get 2 seconds or half a second of footage of what we've done. And then it took us a week to do that little one.
It could be, you're stressing.
You're stressing, like, I want to get this done in here. And then, like, you're getting phone calls. It's like, oh, have you done that? No. So, it's definitely one of those things where, like, once you've been on the inside, there's an enthusiasm, there's an energy, and you can translate that on the outside looking in. And one thing I would definitely say for film, most important, is that you have to get confident in communicating with people.
Yes.
If you really cannot be in and around any type of set if you are uncomfortable with time constraints or just people skills. If you struggle in one of those two areas, it's going to be hard, because you have to communicate with people on a day-to-day basis. They're relying on you to finish this part so that they can get to this part, and it literally is a case of like, sometimes the art does get pushed a little bit backwards because there's budget, money, we got to get this done in certain times. Like, oh, cool, we've allowed enough art time on it now.
Yeah.
We got to get this rolling.
Exactly.
And it's knowing when and where is kind of that was like the learning curve for me, because like naturally we're perfectionists to a certain extent, and if we got time, we'll just go back on it.
Yeah.
But the moment they're just like, no, it's done, like, you have that weird little anxiety. You're
it's like, I've messed up the whole film.
I'm just like, but just give me back that little bit there. And I just wanted to tweak that little. And they're like, no.
Yeah, man.
So
it can make a difference, though. It can make a difference. Like, you know, what we do in particular, like, it's like the pre-production for the VFX artists. You know, our work gets passed on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we mess up our part, then their part is harder. They might struggle, and if they don't complete, then it goes on to the next, and then it just starts. You know what I mean? So we're early stages, so we need to make sure that we're getting this right, so that nothing can come back to us.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? As a company as well, because we're external to a lot of productions as well. We're brought in. We're vendors. We're brought in. Do you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that our company is always, you know, at the top of its game.
100%. Like, delivering.
Exactly. Yeah, we're bringing that top tier. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing as well. Just to add a little bit of clarity to what he's talking about is when you're brought in, when you're working for a company that gets brought in on a production, you remember the budgets are allocated to a certain part. They'll have a good amount of the movie is allocated to, you know, hired staff that are on board of the company. For example, let's say it's Marvel, let's say it's whatever, like Warner Bros. They'll have their guys hired for that, but then they'll have certain things that they maybe don't need ongoing, but then they'll bring in systematically per movie. You know what I'm saying? That's where we're kind of referencing and talking about. It's just like you'll have certain people on the crew or a crew that will be necessary. And each movie is slightly different, because it's like depending on the genre. Some things are a bit more like spoken, you know, like you could think of like your thrillers and your dramas and your like your timepieces, the movies that are kind of
films that don't need like VFX and stuff like that won't need us. Do you know what I mean? Because we're specifically for that. So it will be a lot of these action-packed films where people are flying around and not doing that in real life. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we're strictly on like high budget stuff. A lot of the time we're on Netflix productions. You know, where we're shooting in like Shepperton or Pinewood. Like it's always high budget for at least my company.
I can imagine. I mean, bro, like it seems like you have like a very well-rounded approach to what you've built already. Obviously coming into the game, and you can tell that obviously you're just switched on and just aware of what needs to get done, effectiveness. And real key thing that stands out to me is the ability to work within a team. And some people are a little bit more independent, they're a little bit more just like excellent at what they do, but I would say that on film sets it's hard to work with those individuals.
Absolutely. I've had my fair share of like bad experiences with individuals. Some of them have been, you know, actors, not to bring anyone out or anything, but I feel like, you know, you need to know how to handle people in the most. But you know what, it's funny because I would say that my experience in working in retail has helped me with that. You know what I mean? Building rapport with like customers and stuff like that, and de-escalating situations. You know what I'm saying? And you know, not to toot my own horn, but I've always killed it when it comes to that stuff, man. I think I'm a people person, and that's an avenue that I wasn't even worried about going in. Do you know what I mean? It was the technical aspect where I was worried. People, the talking to people, I was cool. Like,
calm with that,
literally, they put me in front of some like A-star actors within my first 3 months, and I was calm with it. Do you know what I mean? I was cool. I was calm. And
those are sometimes the most important tests, because you got to remember, you could be excellent at what you do, but if somebody brings you in and then they have an A-lister or somebody of high status, and you're wide-eyed for the next 3 weeks, work's not getting done.
Exactly.
And then it also shows a little bit on you as well too. Like, I know it's natural. It is natural. Like, I mean, like, even we can't even, like I said, we ain't name dropping or nothing, but like there was a few key actors, major actors that I remember bumping into on set, and I was like, oh my lord. And you have a little moment in yourself, but then you quickly realise, all right, cool, like there's this person.
Yeah. You know what? To switch it up real quick though, how good did it feel when I saw you on set?
Oh,
like I was like, oh my days, like. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Oh.
I don't know what it was. It was just like, no way. Like,
man.
It's because, you know what? When we sign our NDAs and stuff like that, we can't disclose a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
But when you see someone from where you've grown up in that industry doing the same things and, you know, and getting the same experiences, it's just an amazing feeling, man. I was just happy to see you. I can't lie, man. I was gassed.
Me
for,
too. Listen, long story short, like we was on in the production studio, and I just hear my name just called out. Yeah. And I'm thinking, there is nobody here outside of my guys that know me, and they would have called or they've been around. So I'm like, that's definitely somebody. And I looked down because I was up on top of one of the production sets.
Yeah,
I was like, is that Calvin? No way! I was just like, it's one of those moments. Like, see, that's the thing, because we didn't obviously know, and again, like you just said, because of the NDAs, and we have to keep things very quiet. We're not
talk about exactly. We weren't communicating about that.
Can't do.
Didn't even think that we would have seen each other. Do you know what I mean? And
and it's just like happy coincidence where it's just like same time in, and it makes a huge difference. Like real talk, because even though we're in different departments, we was working on different things. It's kind of irrelevant because we're on the same energy. We're on the same time scale.
We're working on the same project. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you do is just as important as what I do, and we're working together to make this thing happen. You know what I mean?
Man, and we're from Slough.
Exactly. Both from Slough. Come on, man.
This is what we're saying, guys. Like, you have to believe first, though. This is the thing. Like, I know you already know this, bro. Like, you would have had to have a self-belief that, hey, I'm cool with that. Yeah. I can work there. I can do that.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have that, unfortunately, that energy doesn't precede you. So when people meet you, they don't feel that coming off of you. They don't feel that, okay, this is somebody I can throw into the deep end. I can trust them, and they're going to get the job done. And that's what we need to try and translate to, I think, younger people coming out of the Slough area, because unfortunately, Slough skips out education because we don't have a university here. We don't have many colleges. Young people go from 15, 16, 17, and then probably there's a big gap between 20, 21, 22. Because they've got to go uni, they've got to go elsewhere, and then they make their friends outside of Slough. So luckily for us, we've always had close family members that have been in and around here, and then community stuff we're involved in. For us, it's different. It's like we have a bit more pride and a willingness to kind of share this and give it back to the people.
Absolutely, yeah, man, because we didn't have that when we was growing up. So
I'm saying,
it's our duty to give back, in all fairness, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, can't be selfish with the information, because at the end of the day, you need to have an abundant mindset. That's what I think is important. Having an abundant mindset, because people are like, oh, you know what, if I share this with him, he might take my place. I think that's you get that from you get that from a lot of people. But I've come away from that. Like,
me too.
Like, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna share everything and anything. Like, you know what I mean? I help you grow.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
And it comes back in abundance.
Exactly, man. There's enough to go around. You don't need to be so scarce with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. Like safeguarding, like jobs. I ain't gonna tell you about this opportunity, because if he hears about this, and they're coming from my position.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't like all of that.
Yeah, no, it's not good, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, think about it. We've already realised and seen how tough it is to go away, to have to go and work on your career path, your art, whatever it may be, and then actually making that step into the industry that you're looking for. Again, it requires those people. It requires that leap of faith. And if you don't have any foundation to look back on and say, you know, I kind of, I've seen that there, I've seen this here, I kind of see a path that it can be done. You might just overlook it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like, before you know it, 4 or 5 years go past, and I tell you what, guys, that one thing that you definitely do not want to do, you don't want to be stagnant for too long.
Absolutely.
You can do the wrong things for a period of time, as long as you're learning and growing from them.
Absolutely.
Because hindsight's 2020. We're never really going to know what we're meant to be until it's done.
Not at all.
Do you know what I mean?
The job, like, literally, I was applying for jobs and stuff like that before I got this job, and I got into something where I was doing like finance for cars and stuff like that. And I was just like, I was like, this ain't for me. What am I doing? Like, I need to get out of this ASAP. Like, you know, why did I go uni to get a degree? Like, I didn't come to be like some car finance guy. Like, you know
that's
what I mean? I want to be doing what I love to do, and that is creating. And you know, this even now, like, I'm not nowhere near the end of my goal.
No.
Like, I want to be producing and creating animations, films, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like, even, you know, we were saying it on set. The talents alone in Slough, you get enough people together, you don't know what we can create, you know.
I'm telling you guys, like,
serious.
I know what you're alluding to, and it's like same. I echo the same thing as well, bro. It's like we have pretty much all of the people in Slough to do our own productions, to create our own organizations, groups, and projects in general. From everything from investment to finance to accountants to creatives, artists. We have all of the people, but the key is for us to actually, you know, break through that threshold of like creation and actually put something down as a marker. And that's why I looked at things and I kept saying to myself, all this creating's great, like, for me, because I'm doing all right, like I'm making these connections happen. But then I realized there's gonna be a big gap in between myself and the next one coming through. And for me, it's obviously photography, videography stuff. I like, you look around, I don't see another one, and I'm sure, like yourself, there aren't many other people like yourself too, bro.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
I can't tell you another like artist from Slough that's doing what I'm doing.
Nah,
do you know what I mean?
I couldn't tell you either.
And I said that, like, I know, you know, we'll probably digress a little bit, but when I went on to the Commonwealth presentation that I did, about I did some murals for Black History Month, and I got invited in to present and, you know, talk about my work a couple of days ago. And, you know, during that I was saying, like, growing up, I couldn't tell you a single artist in Slough, like, you know what I mean, especially that looked like me, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, that's the key.
I think representation matters, man. And you know, I think growing up, you know, it's important to have those idols so that, like we said earlier, you can see yourself within these individuals so that you know that you can do what they did.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Especially if they came from where you come from.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, like, that's why I think for me this podcast is just like so meaningful. It's because I've already been able to bring people onto the platform that have their own passions but also have already accomplished things that people just don't really know about. You know, like, and then, you know, for example, I had Leslie on, former Olympian. You know, and it's like, people don't even know that there's Olympians in Slough. Olympians, you know, like, just let that sink in for a second. Like, real talk. Olympians, and her brother, by the way, is Lloyd Owusu, who's a former professional footballer. It's
and like, Leslie is one of the ones that did the mural for Black History Month.
Exactly. So, and they shout out Lydia as well too. I remember Lydia from Survival Saturday School back in the day. These things go around and they come back around, bro. Like, when you're connected, 6 degrees of separation, as I always say. It's once you can put aside maybe emotions, situations that, you know, you get frustrated, life hits people in different ways at different times, but once we can overcome those things and we can say, okay, that's all well and good, let's push all that to the side, let's focus on the creation, let's focus on what we're actually building and bringing to the table. You know what I'm saying? Because you create a more broader picture, and then people like yourself, and then the next young person sees a Calvin and he's just like, raw, that's amazing. I can see like cartoons, and he can sketch me, he can draw, he can turn it into, and it's relatable things, because I think as well, things need to be a little bit on trend for people to catch it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, right now, what we're doing is in trend. It's modern. It's connected with the industry, so it has the reach and ability to connect with people. Whereas if we was doing, I don't know, like pottery, or we was doing ceramics or something else like that, it's maybe not going to translate the same. Still is important, because there may be someone out there who's passionate about ceramics or pottery. However, sometimes you need to, in order to catch majority of the audience, you need to hit them with things that are either trendy or on trend.
Or that are just known, innit? Big things. We mentioned Marvel now, and everyone knows what Marvel is because it's been going for the last, like, what, 20 years now? Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, 20, 30 years.
Like, it's crazy. Like,
it's relatability, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it's big things, and it's like, that's what I think creates the spark for the inspiration, because as I said, we're talking about it in this field, but there could be someone out there equally from sport, from finance, from business. It doesn't really matter. Like, they could be on the verge of creating something big in their industry.
Absolutely.
But I think we need spaces and platforms like this, and hopefully this inspires others to go out and conversate and do the same, because once they can look back and they can see that we document our stories, we take pride in who we are. Instead of saying, shout about us, please.
Do you know
what I'm saying? It's just like, why ain't no one shouting about us? It's just like, because you don't shout about yourself.
It's true, man.
It's like, the moment you start saying, hey, no, this is what we do, this is where our accreditations are, these are our accomplishments, boom, we're gonna...
That's why we got to do part 2 of this podcast when our production comes out, man.
Listen, brother. Oh my God, that's going to be a wicked episode.
Yeah, man, that's going to be good.
I cannot wait. Cannot wait, bro. Because this is the thing, that these things, you know what? Do you know why this feels special? And I'm sure, and obviously Calvin echoes this too. These things took generations for us to even get these chances, man. Like, there were people that in our parents' generation, probably our grandparents' generation, that wanted to try these things.
Absolutely.
But there was no options for you to do them things.
None.
Not going to happen. So it took a certain type of...
drive, I would say.
Yeah. 100% drive, professionalism, the way you articulate and communicate yourself. It's taken us to get to this point before we can actually execute these missions.
Absolutely.
And then we can actually turn around and people can point to us and say, oh, yeah, okay, that's somebody that I could respect. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
man, we come from humble beginnings, like, you know what I mean? Like, a bit about like our backgrounds and stuff like that. Like, my mum came over in like the 1970s from a small island called Anguilla. And, you know, she built a family over here, but because she was like looking after the family and stuff like that, she didn't get to pursue what she wanted to do.
Facts.
So it's important. I feel like one of my biggest drives is definitely, you know, being able to give back to her someday, do you know what I mean? Because of everything that she put into me, do you know what I mean? It's important, I think, you know.
That's very important, bro. It's important that like we big up our community where we come from as well. And like we're, 100%. Like you said, humble beginners, man, but we're proud people, you know. Like in my particular case, like it was like my grandparents, they come from Jamaica, Barbados and Antigua. Those are the 3 main. But when they landed here, you can imagine like they came with certain professional skills that they weren't able to fit into the industry with. So they wanted to be tailors, they wanted to be creatives, artists, moving the culture, creating, building things, but they didn't have the access, or they weren't allowed the access. So this is why it's really powerful, and you see this energy coming from both of us. This is that, you know, we're reaching that point now where we're just starting to just touch the ice, we're starting to break the ice a little bit, but boy, you guys don't understand, we're just the beginning of this.
This is what I'm saying. This is just the start, man. There's so much more to come, and we're so young as well. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much further that we're going to be in like 10 years' time.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Like, the industry is particularly the film industry is a longer one, isn't it? Like, you don't typically usually get into it a bit later.
Exactly.
Then you hold it down. Whereas with us, we've got tastes of it quite young. So being able to relate to the youngsters is even more imperative. Like, we're some grey-haired 40, 50-year-old guys right now. We probably can't talk to the young ones.
Exactly. They're not gonna look at us the same way. Do you know what I mean? It's not gonna come across the same way that we can tell you.
No, 100%. You know what I mean? 100%. It takes that. Sometimes age is important. As we said, we talked about the trend. We talked about your relatability and representation. You know, and talking about representation a little bit more. You know, you already kind of briefly highlighted it from the Caribbean background. Like, we're proud Caribbean people, you know, Caribbean British, come here, born and raised. Our families come from, you know, proud places. We're proud.
100%.
We don't have a lot in terms of access to resources, but what we do have is a pride and a professionalism in how we present ourselves. And, you know, that's one thing I definitely noticed that's huge in the Caribbean community. And part of the reason why, even though no matter how successful I'd ever be, I would always turn around and offer my support, because I wouldn't want that next young person who looks like me to come up and be like, well, what do I do?
Exactly. You know what, I mean, like we said, you know, briefly earlier as well, I feel like we have to give thanks to our upbringings, because like they raised us in a certain way and they gave us the mannerisms. You know what I mean? Like in the household, you know, we show respect and we know how to communicate with people. Like, some people don't know how to communicate. And you will see that when you go into these industries and stuff like that. The people that don't know how to communicate, they don't last long.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
That's big truth.
So we are able, we're people like not people pleasers, but we're able to, you know, communicate and like judge the room, you know, gauge what people are feeling and kind of go from there. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that's very important as well. Like, you know, we're big characters. We're big characters. That's what I said.
That's it. Yeah.
Big personality.
Yeah. When you have a character, you have to build it. See, this is the thing. Like, you have to go through that adversity from a younger age. You got to be around people that challenge you, that hold you accountable, and it starts to build small parts of you that you don't even realize, and then when you get into environments, like I'm sure when you walked in, it's like you feel armed with the, alright, cool, I know what's going on here. It's like, I mean, I remember my dad said this to me specifically. He's just like, man, you got to remember, sometimes we're operating behind enemy lines. And what you mean by that is like, not everyone is an enemy. However, when we step into certain fields that we're not frequented in, when we're not typically seen in, you have to conduct yourself a certain way. Absolutely. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to silently sabotage it for others. And maybe even yourself too. Because they might just bin you off and be like, gone. And then next one that comes in looking at you, no.
You know what? You know that saying that, like, I don't know why, but Caribbean people always love to say that, you know, as black people, we need to work like 3 times as hard. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that has a lot to do with how we conduct ourselves. Do you know what I mean? It's how we go about, because we will, as you said, will leave, you know, a mark on our culture if we don't conduct ourselves correctly.
That's right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Because like, you may not even see it, but you could do something, and then the next person that they hire that's black, they'll look at them in a certain way because of what you did. Do you know what I'm saying? And that I think is something that we don't, you know, pay enough attention to. But it's, as a culture, you know, we could be a bit wild sometimes, but it's not something that we can't tone down. It's not something that we can't come and be professional in certain environments. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people, that whole stereotype with black people needs to kind of dissolve. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't like this whole saying or whatever, when you speak in a certain way, or you speak properly, or so you're acting white. No, I don't really like that. You know what I mean? It's how you're conducting yourself. There's not a black way. There's not a white way.
Exactly.
It's just you being
the right way.
Exactly, the right way. You know what I'm saying? Conducting yourself with the correct mannerisms. And that's what I'm grateful for like my parents, and you can say the same for your parents. You know what I mean? They taught us those mannerisms, and you know, we can now go out into the world and you know, be professional.
That's it.
Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas some people don't know how to be professional. And I think,
that's true. Like that's a great point, man. Like, I think a lot of people, they miss that education. Either it was taught to them or wasn't taught to them, but you get to that certain point where you realize when you step into certain rooms, how you conduct yourselves dictates how you're going to be received in those rooms. And it's just very black and white. And I think in our culture, like you said, we're a little wild, we're a little bit more on the free side. But at the same time, that can be a bit of a hindrance for some of us, because like you said, bro, I don't even think it's a case of like things we particularly see or do on a daily basis. I think it's things that happen, and then we feel the ramifications of it.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? That's so it's like, we don't even have to be there. They might have just overheard, glimpsed, and saw a bunch of black youths talking. And we're talking about, man, I'm
do you know what I mean?
And they're like, and then here we come for the job interview.
It's
up,
like,
guys?
and it's not even to say like you're being fake or something.
Nah,
it's making that a part of who you are.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about being not real, because I don't like that. Because I'll step into every room and I'll be myself, but it's, you know, just because you switch something on and switch something off doesn't mean that's not you. It's just that you know how to conduct yourself around certain people.
Precisely, it's intelligence, bro.
It's like if you're speaking to your granddad, you're not going to speak to them the same way you're speaking to your brethren. You know what I mean? Your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and even the little ones. Like, think about children. Because a lot of people say like, no, I'm just going to talk how I want, and people have to take me for how I am.
You don't swear around children.
You don't go into a nursery or like, do you know what I mean, a reception, school, anything.
Exactly.
And then just start blurting off your mouth and swearing and cursing.
Exactly that.
Because you recognise, hey, there's kids here.
Exactly.
So we need to have that same approach sometimes when we step into certain rooms. And just recognise, hey, like, this is a party. I can be cool. I can enjoy myself. Like, this is a business meeting. I need to be more reserved. And be more disciplined and watch what I say. Not just my opinion is valid anywhere. Sometimes your opinion is not needed.
Exactly.
You go to a funeral, people don't want to hear what you got to say.
Exactly.
Listen and pay respect.
Exactly.
And that's what I think we've just kind of got a little bit lost on that, where it's like social media has opened up these lanes to just be yourself. And online, I get it, but people watch these things, and I think about this as well, even with the podcast, bro. This is why I've kept my concept very clean and professional. Because I don't want, for example, I work with the casual ballers. Shout out the casual ballers, my guys. And there's a bunch of young guys there.
Yeah.
Some of them are minors.
Yeah.
If they're sitting there watching one of my episodes and their parents comes in the room, their uncle, their brother, there's somebody who cares about them, and they hear me effing, blinding, going mad.
Yeah.
I'm one of their coaches.
Exactly.
I represent for casual boarders. I represent myself.
Someone that they look up to.
Exactly. So what do they think now? Now, yes, it could be relatable, innit? Because the roadman there, if I come in, blood and they may relate, but what are they learning?
Learning, exactly.
What are they learning? Coach Carter.
Yeah.
You know Coach Carter?
I love that film.
That's what I'm saying.
One of my favourite films.
That mentality there is what I think we've lost a little bit of. It's like we've kind of just gone away from that, and everyone is just free and doing things now. So like, what would you say in terms of like your appreciation for that type of message, in terms of having more representation and more people in our environment that put out the right messages, man, as opposed to just kind of trying to be relatable to the young man?
I think it's important. Like obviously, you know, I did the murals.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, I got commissioned from Home Slough, which is an organisation in Slough that is doing a lot of community work right now, and they took up a project from Tina Brooks. Shout out Tina Brooks. She came to me because she knew of my work, because her daughter used to, funny enough, teach me in motivation. And motivation was another community organisation where they like got youths together and they did like dance and they did, you know, other activities. Do you know what I mean? So Tanya, Tina's daughter, she told Tina about my artwork and said, you know, Calvin can do illustrations and stuff like that, and if you wanted murals and stuff like that, he would be your guy to go to. And then she got in contact with me, and like the rest is history. I did 4 commissions that year of 4 great black men from Slough that has done community work in Slough. And you know what I mean? And a lot of people didn't know about them before that point. You know what I mean?
I know.
And I think as we said, representation is so important. But not only that, like I said earlier, I feel like, you know, you could be walking on the street and you see this big illustration and mural of like this black person highlighted. Do you know what I mean? Do you know how important and impactful that is?
It's huge, bro.
Do you know what I mean? It's so powerful. Like, and like I said, like me growing up, I had seen something like that, I'm more likely to pay attention to that than to pick up a book and read. If I saw that, I want to learn what's going on there. I'm seeing this big mural of people that look like me, and I'm like, oh, what did they do? Why are they up there? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then I'm gonna go over and like, start learning. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I think, yes, as you said, it's just so important. Do you know what I mean? It's just so important.
Well, bro, I mean, like from seeing your artwork in general, which we're gonna get into in a moment, what's quite amazing is it's the full circle to see, because some of the people that you've obviously highlighted are some people that I know or know of, because obviously my dad working in the community for a long period of time and teaching. But it's just amazing to see that you've got that to that point where you can actually create and highlight some of these people so that we can see those messages. Because like I said, when we was young, we didn't really see that. We didn't really see that.
And you want to give them their flowers while they're still here.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
And like let's wait till they pass away and then we'll just big RIPs and respectful, cool. But let's do that. They're still here.
Exactly.
They ain't gone nowhere. I mean, I saw Lydia recently.
Exactly. And I was training with like Lennox Carty. Shout out to Lennox Carty.
Big Lennox.
He is, you know, Taekwondo champion, world champion. Do you know what I mean? And he was teaching me like a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing to even, you know, create that and get him highlighted, someone that is actually helping me in other ways as well. Do you know what I mean? Learning new skills from him,
and they're still here to teach you more.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's the
difference. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
It goes back and forth, and it's that transfer of the energy, innit? So like, let's talk a little bit more about those murals specifically, because obviously I've seen them in a time. If you haven't, have a look around town, guys. There's some amazing murals. How many did you do again?
There were, well, altogether there's 8 currently.
Cool.
The 4 from 2 years ago are down, so there's 4 still up, I believe.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, around Slough.
Yeah, around Slough. So when you dotted around Slough, you'll see some amazing murals of some black faces. Like, you know, that's my guy Calvin. But yeah, Mo, let's talk a little bit more specifically about the technical side of creating those. Like, how does that... Walk us through the steps of like how that goes from there to being on the wall. Okay,
so what I wanted to do, because I feel like it's important to incorporate a lot of things to do with those individuals when I was making those murals. So I wanted to get I wanted to interview them.
Okay, cool.
So what I did, I got Christina to set up interviews with the individuals and stuff like that. And I would just be taking down little notes about where they come from, what they stand for, things that I can implement and kind of just broaden my mind of, so I could show them in their authentic self, but through an artistic, creative way. Do you know what I mean? So I was just like dotting down little things like about them, and then I got to work, and things just came out of nowhere. Whether it's some like just drawing like little things to do with them, adding it, and like just creating,
just piecing it
slowly together. Literally like puzzles. Like, do you know what I mean?
Is it like one sketch piece, or do you do multiple and then kind of like pick out your favorite?
I might. What I try to do is I might do like an initial sketch.
Okay.
And I do a lot of my work on the iPad.
Nice.
By the way, so I'll do like an initial sketch of kind of like of the composition of how I want it to look, and then I might change that up slightly. But once I start like adding in stuff, that's that's when I'm like solidifying it. Do you know what I mean? Right, what it looks like, and then I'm creating it on big canvases, but it's on my iPad. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that it can be blown up. Do you know what I mean? To a good scale and still be good quality.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think for
go on. What's it like drawing on the iPad in comparison to like on paper? Because I've spoken to a lot of illustrators and I've seen a difference, but like, is it, would say easier, harder, more manual? Like,
I prefer it. I use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator a lot, and I use Procreate as well. Procreate is, I think, an amazing app for it, like drawing. It's simple to use. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like, honestly, when I started, Procreate saved my uni. Literally, like I was doing a lot of hand drawings, paintings for my first 2 years of uni. And I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes that can be detrimental to my actual workload and what I need to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Because you see that final piece and you're like, I can't go back and change that.
I can't go back and change it, but I'm not producing work as fast as I need to as well. That's the problem. So I needed to find a balance, and thank God for my mum. She bought me my first iPad for my birthday, and it's been like, honestly, been one of the best purchases she ever got me, because I've been able to go and produce so much work in like half the amount of time or less. Do you know what I mean? That I would have spent on one piece. So that's what I love about it. I'm able to mass produce work very quickly, and I'm able to do that with using different brushes on the iPad, different type of pencils. I don't have to go out and get them. I've got them. Do you know what I mean? They're there. Like. Do you know what I'm saying? And as you were saying as well about convenience, like whether we're shooting like the podcast on a phone or a camera, it's about the equipment and what you're what's convenient for you. You might be traveling a lot, and you just need to grab your iPad real quick instead of taking the whole sketchbook and like pens, paints,
you
know
got
what
the
I mean?
Epsons and you got
paints and stuff like that, canvases on my back. Like, no, I just can pick up my iPad and go do some art in like a studio space like this. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about it. That's what I think
the moleskin journals and all that.
Exactly. That's the difference between doing it on paper and doing it on the iPad. It's just convenience. And I can mass produce and I can get my ideas out quicker. Really, and that's what is important to me, I think.
Well, you know what? That's interesting you say that as well, because like, I've got a friend of mine that I went to uni with. He's an amazing painter, and he does like the big canvases and stuff too. Like crazy 30-40 foot ones and stuff. It's ridiculous. But he starts like you did as well, like in terms of on iPad or computer screens, where he will sketch out models. And it's interesting now, because what we're doing is we're getting to a new form of digital creation from illustrators and painters. Do you know what I mean? The illustrators and painters back in the day, it was canvas only, tangible only, there's paint all over you, it's drawing all day. Whereas now I think it's a little bit more, like you said, it's the convenience. I said, from my personal perspective, I like doing everything more streamlined, because I got to a point when I was doing too much batch editing, and it was basically, I was dealing with so many files, and I realized that like, the technology is fantastic to have, but I needed to consolidate. So for me, it was interesting. I went away from having I still have my main computer, but what I did is I started to consolidate using the cloud more, using portable drives, so I can take what I need, get those onto systems, so I can get through those, and then if I'm with my iPad, I can sit down on the train if I'm traveling or whatever, get little edits and stuff done. And then now it's portable. So the convenience is huge, man. Like I can imagine for your particular path is probably just even better.
Honestly, yeah, that's why I said it saved my uni career.
Yeah,
like it's crazy because I don't think that I would have got. I came out of uni with a 2-1.
Nice, okay.
And like, barring the whole dissertation side, I would have come out with a first. And I don't think I would have done that good.
Yeah.
If I didn't get digital. If I didn't turn to digital, I would not have achieved what I've achieved today. No way. Because I can paint, and I haven't lost the skill. Because a lot of the time I will like still do rough sketches on paper, take a picture, and put that into my iPad, and digitalize that now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of using that that normal craft and bringing it digitally. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. So combining both skills to make sure that I'm producing the best work still.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, it's the combinations, and I think there was an initial fear when technology started to boom with, especially like video and camera work, and I'm sure it's probably similar for yourself. Like, when you come from a tangible career path, like when you come from an art form, should I say, that is based in the tangible,
yes,
like painting, pottery, photography, things that you have hands on, like developing film, and you would be sitting there with all your different pens and pencils.
Yes.
Painters would have all their brushes. It was all tangible stuff, and then you created this thing at the end of it. Whereas I think now that thing has become a little bit more internalized, and it's now more about style, personality, and like you said before, convenience.
Style is so important. I didn't realize, especially when things like Instagram. Style is so important because people being able to recognize your style can take you and blow you up on Instagram within a matter of weeks, if anything. Do you know what I mean? But that's something that I always struggled with because I try not to stay to a specific style.
I know you mean.
And everyone was like, no, if you want to blow on Instagram, you need to have one style. You just need to keep doing that style and people get familiar with your style. I'm just like, but that's not me though. So how do you balance that? Like, do you know what I mean? I still want people to recognize my work and be able to, identify it. But I don't want to be specific to one style. Then that's another thing that I did with the murals.
Okay.
Every single mural I took up a different style to do.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't want them to be the same. I don't like doing the same thing. I want to be continuously learning myself as well. I'm not just producing work, I'm learning as I'm producing. Do you know what I mean? I'm developing my skills as well while I'm doing this.
That's a difference.
Do you know what I mean? It makes a difference to me, I think, as well. So I'm not only getting paid to do the work, but I'm also developing myself along the way,
diversifying.
Exactly. And I think that it opens broader doors for myself as well, because people have come to me to do like book covers, caricatures, like posters, you know what I'm saying? There's loads of different stuff.
And see, that's another thing as well too. What you can be known for doing one or two things, and some people can be successful in that and make a very good career, and make good money. But what you tend to find in now society we live in, you need to be multifaceted to some capacity. Even if it's in your industry, like let's take illustration for example. Like you just mentioned, if you have that one specific style, you only do that style, I'm not doing nothing else, then yes, you might get hired by a cool magazine, they might like you, they might like that particular style. However, somebody else may want something slightly different, and that may limit your work opportunities down the line.
Exactly.
So say you pop off and it's because everything trendy right now fits your style, or your style fits the trend. Then when the trend changes, everyone's hiring somebody else.
Exactly.
So I think like you just said, you made a very good point about diversifying your skill sets has now enabled you to get different jobs where you're doing posters, where you're doing digital, where you're doing film,
hand drawings, so on, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So on and so forth, man. I don't wanna single myself out. Like you said, like trends do change, and there's only so much time that you can spend being on one style. I want to be continuously progressing and learning and developing my skills.
That's right.
Forever.
Yeah, man. 100%. Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, for most young artists out there as well, it can be a difficult beginning, because what happens is, like you said, you do need to develop a style. We're not sitting there saying don't have a style, because I think it is important, and I've noticed even in my photography and the art that I produce, I developed a style of how I film and how I create content. But as we're also adding that in, we have to be aware that once you get confined and put into certain boxes, it's almost like you now don't have the autonomy to just dictate where you go now, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like, you're limited, you're kind of capped. You can get hired by these lot, but these lot over here won't touch you.
Do you know what though? That's something I could say about the film industry as well, you know. My company, even in the year that I've been there, has constantly been developing itself. Every single day. Every single day I'm there, they're trying to test new things. How can we scan faster? How can we capture more? How can we, you know, produce a high quality render? How can we, you know, our packages be, you know, how can we be making more money by producing more and providing more? Do you know what I'm saying? Whether that is adding like look dev lighting on like props and stuff like that, like, you know, giving the customer and going the extra mile for them, you're able to then fight an argument to say, oh well, you know, I'm worth this now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's saying, because at the end of the day, if you stick to one thing, you're not only limiting yourself in terms of skill, but you're also limiting yourself in terms of money. Because once you have your price set, why is anyone going to pay more down the line just because you've been producing the same thing? Do you know what I mean? You want to be developing yourself so that you can up your prices. You want to be gaining skills and be getting more at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you said earlier, man. Like, you have to have that abundance mindset. Like, it's huge, bro. It's huge. I mean, like, it applies to pretty much all facets of your life. Having the abundance mindset, because what it does is it puts you into a frame of mind of saying, hey, like, regardless of what position that I'm in, I will always create. I will always find new. And what happens with that is you tend to stop worrying as much about small failures, little L's along the way that you got to take, because they just become learning experiences. And if anything, you'll cherish those moments, because I sit back and think about some of the L's I had to take on this journey to get here. Boy, I'm so glad I took some of them, because you can't get those moments back and that time to lose then. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I lose now, it's different. Because now I should know these things. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all about like the timing, and when you get into things, and then taking enough seriousness in your approach, and, you know, just being able to recognize that, hey, like, the things I do now, and maybe some of the L's I have to take along that way, is going to manifest and create who I need to be.
Exactly. And you know what's funny enough, my latest post on Instagram, I put up a quote like I was just thinking of, and it just a light bulb just went off when you said that, because I literally said that, like, hard times destroys the ego, creating a better version of yourself in the long run. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
I think that's real. It's so important, because, and this, a lot of people try to shy away from hard times and kind of, you know, throw them under the carpet and try not to embrace them sometimes, but you go through them because you're becoming the best version of yourself. Do you know what I mean? You're going through these things because God knows that you can get through them, and then when you come out on the other side, you're going to be more powerful than you was before. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be a better version of yourself. So don't shy away from no hard times that you're going through, man. Keep going and just push through, and then when you notice that you're out of it, you're going to be stronger, because that thing that affected you then is not going to affect you anymore.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That is true. Like, nothing lasts forever.
Exactly.
I mean, not even bad times. And see, that's the thing. I think when people say we're very clever with how we communicate, because there are certain statements and certain you know, catchphrases or whatever you want to say that are related to a way of thinking. You know what I mean? So, like, it's either it can sometimes be a negative, or it can sometimes be a positive. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, when we're referring to that, essentially, it's kind of like, it could be considered a negative, but in the real reality, it's actually a positive.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But, you know, it's just perspective. It's just how you look at it. And changing your perspective on a situation can literally change your vibration, and it will just send you excelling in the industry and in everything that you want to be doing. Like, it's perspective is so important, and I didn't really. That's something that I'm even still working on today. Like, shifting perspective, something bad will happen, and it's just like, well, actually, you know, if I look at it like this, it's not that bad, because it's, you know, it's just shifting the perspective can make that difference, man. I'm telling you. No,
I agree 100%. All right, well, since we're talking about shifting, let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about things outside of your art form that you're actually a little bit passionate about, should I say?
Gym.
Yeah.
I train a lot, man.
I see you in shape, bro.
Yeah. You know what? I live in activewear.
I'm getting there, brother. You know, you just sort of feel those comforts, and then it makes you want to go like, you know what, I want to.
I'm telling you, man.
Need to get back.
I feel like I'm very driven person when it comes to self-development, and I mean that in every aspect. I'm trying to, you know, gain knowledge, be more physically healthy, you know, eat well, like I haven't taken a paracetamol in like over 6 years because I've become more holistic. Do you know what I mean? I care about what goes into my body now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's why everything that I do nowadays is so calculated, and it's because I've done the research about, you know, what these things and how they affect your body and how they do. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like fitness and health is definitely another aspect of my life that I take so seriously. I train at least like 3 to 4 times a week. And you know, whether that's lifting weights or doing cardio, just to stay active, man. Otherwise, you know, you just get belly out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, listen, I know. I feel you. Like, that's the thing. Fitness and health. I feel like for people in general, man, like it's important that you have a good understanding or at least an appreciation of it, because it can really change your whole scenario. I mean, like for me, I've grown up playing football, so I've always been kind of fit. I've always been cardiovascularly fit.
Yeah,
you know, in terms of running around. But like going to gym, has like really helped to like build a whole new sense of confidence.
Yes,
do you know what I'm saying? Because particularly for men, like we can't really obviously speak on the female experience, but from a man's perspective, there's something to be said about like feeling strong and prepared. It's almost like readiness. Do you know what I mean?
It's that inner warrior spirit coming out, man.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I think as men, naturally we're protectors. You know what I mean? We're, you know, we want to be able to hold down our household and not feel like we're incapable.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that goes a long way. And like, you know, in America, it might be different because everyone's got a gun. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
it's a different type of ego.
There's a different type of ego, you know what I mean? Oh, he's got RPG, so I need an RPG. Do you know what I'm saying? But whereas here, I feel like, at least for myself, you know, I want to be, you know, physically confident in myself that I can do certain things. You know what I mean? If I'm hanging off a cliff and my wife is hanging off a cliff, I'm able to pull her up. I'm just there.
You know, just get up there, bro. You doing down there?
You know what I mean? I'm able to do that. Like I'm fairly confident in myself. Like,
I'll hear you.
Plus the adrenaline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. These are scenarios that just work in my head. They just come out of nowhere.
You never know, bro.
Exactly. You never know, man.
That's the thing. It's the readiness.
Yeah.
It's the readiness. It's like when you go and you build the routine. Because the thing is, I've been working out like you said, about 3-4 days a week since like January. Just taking it real seriously. One, I wanted to get past that threshold. I've always gone and worked out, but it's typically been to support football. So I've never needed to go hard on the gym stuff. It's mostly just be fit, be ready to go out and run.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas now, because I'm playing less football, it's like, okay, cool. Let me use that excess part that I was using for the cardio burn. And let me see what I can get from it from working out. And I'm just like, rah. Oh, so this is what happens when you like you consistently just gym, and you can feel the changes in your body. You can feel like, you know, posture, waking up in the morning, like how you just genuinely feel. And then also, you know what also happens? I realize you have an eagerness to get back and continue. So the body almost craves it.
You get addicted. I've been training 8 years now.
Nice.
I started when I was 18.
Sick.
And I went with like 4 of my boys. We used to go Buzz Gym across the road.
Shout out Buzz.
Shout out Buzz Gym. And we was there for like a year consistently, and we're all competing. The competitiveness, but it was a healthy competitiveness. It's like someone would
we can do this.
We're all doing the same weight, but then someone would do extra rep. I was like, oh, well then you got to do an extra rep. And it's like, oh, well then you got to do 2 more. We're pushing each other so hard, and then before you know it, within that first 6 months, we've seen so much progression, like physically. It was like I was so skinny. Within that first 6 months, it was just like, bro, where did this come from? I didn't even know I could look like this.
Listen,
you know, and then you get addicted. I'm like, bro, maybe this is my thing. Like, I'm on it. Like, do you know what I mean?
100, bro, 100. I'm just getting that taste now, and for me, it's happened a bit later, as I said, because I went through so many years. Like, I was playing from the age of 6 years old till like 21, 22 football. So like most of my childhood up until adult years, I was running, playing football, and it got to a point where I needed to take a break off
from
just fitness all the time.
Yeah.
But now I'm coming back into it, I have a new way of thinking and a new approach. But something you said there kind of triggered, which is you worked out with a bunch of the guys.
Yes.
And see, that's one thing that I think is important. Like, even when I'm in the gym, I see guys in the gym that I know consistently, and then you build that little small bond of accountability.
Yes,
where,
absolutely.
like you said, like you was doing the small challenges, like we do one more rep, do an extra rep.
Yeah.
For me, it's more like seeing the guys in. It's just like, oh yeah, you gym it. Oh, okay, cool. What are you doing today? Oh, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And then it builds from there. But the key is to get past that threshold of, you know, the pain, feeling a little bit uncomfortable, because you have to make it like fun. You have to become a lifestyle. That's one thing I've realized.
It is a lifestyle.
It really is.
It really is a lifestyle.
It's not just two sessions a week.
Nope.
No.
It needs to be consistent. You need to be on it.
Yeah.
And once you make it a lifestyle, because I don't know the statistic for something to become a habit or how long it needs to take.
It takes a certain time. Yeah,
it takes a certain time.
There's like a formula, isn't there?
Yeah. There's a formula like for something to become a habit, but once it becomes a habit, you feel weird when you do not go gym.
Yeah, man.
I got injured like recently, and I wasn't able to like train upper body because I injured my elbow and stuff like that, because I had to get stitches in my elbow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel so weird, like I feel not weird, like I'm not training, like
like the inertia of the body just feels like it's a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy, and but I love it though. It's I don't know. It's even in lockdown, like, do you know what I mean? Like working out, I'd be doing push-ups because I didn't have weights at home.
Yeah, same.
I'd just be doing push-ups, whether it's sit-ups and stuff like that, and then it's just like, oh man, this is what I like.
I'm telling you, bruv, like gym is, you know, for anyone out there. I mean, I'm sure it's obviously not. We're not speaking like, you know, some crazy science to you guys. Like, it's pretty well known that like the positive effects that come. Yeah, the
endorphins that you get. Do you know what I mean? It makes you feel good after a while. Like that initial pain barrier, once you get past it, you'll never feel it as much as you felt it in that first week.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And that's what people need to remember. You go hard for that first week or so. You're going to feel pain, but understand that pain is growth. Just like we were saying earlier. Do you know what I mean? Keep going, like, because it's not gonna be, your body learns to adapt.
That's it.
Do you know what I'm saying? And once it adapts, you're not gonna feel that same pain again.
That's true.
Unless you go harder. And then
you've got new growth.
Exactly, you've got new growth, but you're familiar with the pain anyway.
That's it.
So it's not gonna affect you in the same way. Do you know what I'm saying? But you can take that down to every aspect of life. So it's important, man.
No, I like that. That's a good gem for the people, because I mean, like, a lot of people, you know, I think it's good to have compliments to your passion. And you know, fitness is a great one in general, because it's a diverse and it's a vast network. Like, when we're talking about gym specifically, we're obviously thinking more about lifting weights and working out in a gym styled environment. However, some people, maybe they don't want to go gym and have to sign up and be somewhere. Maybe they like doing outdoor sessions, maybe they like doing running, maybe they like swimming, whatever. But the key is some form of fitness or health related activity is really going to help supplement and benefit whatever you're building. Because us as creatives, this is why I think we obviously have that similarity, is because we use our brains to create concepts, and those concepts need to turn into things. Most people go and do the things to do the work. We create the things that become the work.
Exactly.
So we need that sometimes, that outside of work thing that keeps you supplemented, it keeps you motivated, keeps you sane.
Like, you don't realize how much gym has helped me, like, mentally as well. Like, there's been, you know, obviously I've been training for like 8 years, but there's things that happened in my life where I've been, you know, stressed, going through hard times, but then I'll go to the gym, blow off some steam, and it calms me.
Just centers you again.
It centers me, exactly. It brings your, like you said, your mind level, so that you can go and create what you need to create.
That's it. Yeah, that's so true, bro. That's so true. I mean, I know I speak to a lot of different creatives, and it's funny because fitness is a very common denominator linked with art and creativity.
I know you spoke to Marcus as well, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah,
Marcus, he's a big gym head. We've trained together a few times. We've trained together a few times, man.
Boy Marcus, bro.
Yeah, shout out Marcus, man. But yeah, it's very important, man. It is important. I recommend everyone start at the gym or some sort of physical activity.
Real talk there, 100%. And most gyms, especially now, because of COVID, because of everything like that, a lot of gyms are offering, like, you know, free first months. You know, like, sign up or get, if you know somebody, refer them on, and you know, it's basically damn near.
And loads of gyms are doing like no contract as well.
Yeah.
So you can sign up, and if you don't like it next month, you could just quit.
It's not like before
where you have to sign up for a whole year and you're consistently paying, you know what I mean, even if you don't go. Nah, you can literally sign up to give it a trial, and you know, I would say at least do it for a month though. Don't just do it for a week. I'm in pain, then don't go again. You need to do it for a month to see, you know what I mean, how you're really gonna feel about it.
That's it. Because the thing is, as soon as people get those first sets of results, they're hooked. You can see it.
100%.
And like that's how I was as well. Like when I started working out and I started seeing some actual real results, and because obviously I have a plan. So that's another thing as well. We'll add in. Have small term goals whenever you go in. They don't have to be huge, but have one or two things you stick to, because they will always evolve and change over time. But for me, mine was I wanted to put on a certain amount of weight to feel like I was at, for my height, because I'm pretty much almost 6 foot. I wanted to be more within a healthy range for my BMI. So for me, it was mostly about looking at my height, what I should weigh based off of body fat percentage and all that stuff. So my first goal was wanted to put on a certain amount of weight, and then it was balancing diet. So eating healthy,
absolutely, it's so important.
And I said balance. I didn't say go and have some crazy diet like you got some low carb diet. Diets in general, guys, don't tend to typically work because they're linked to removing some factor of food because of your lack of discipline to eat it. Whereas if you actually just eat comfortably, but you just balance it. So if you like chocolate, have a chocolate once a week or twice a week, but don't have a chocolate every day.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Finding what works for you is so important.
That's it,
man. Because diet, like I've done some extreme stuff when it comes to diet. Testing, trial and error. Like, gone vegan. Went vegan for a few months. I did that. And I got so ripped, but I was testing myself because I was saying to people as well, I was like, I want to see if I can actually achieve this, like mentally. And I didn't even go like normal vegan. I went raw vegan. Because I was looking into the likes of like Dr. Sebi and Dr. Sebi, like the whole holistic lifestyle and stuff like that. I was the cleanses and stuff like that. I wanted to get rid of shit in my body. You know what I'm saying?
Cleanse the body.
Like cleanse the body, and there was a lot of like mentally that was challenging at that time, but. You know what? It's a learning curve, and I've still implemented. Even though I've gone back to eating meat, I've implemented a lot of what I learned into my diets now. Do you know what I mean? My meal plans now. Man. So it wasn't all wasted. You know what I mean? You take things away, but it's trial and error.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's funny. I pretty much did exactly the same thing, man. Like I didn't go raw vegan, but I went veggie. And
it's a struggle, isn't it?
It's hard, bro.
Struggle.
It's a hard, cause
especially when you come from households where you eat meat constantly. Do you know what I mean? In the black culture, in the black culture, like
that's really what it is.
It's like
we grow up, especially Caribbeans. Like boy, we be eating that jerk,
chicken, curry
goat, the mutton, the oxtail,
all of that, macaroni and cheese.
Damn,
I'm hungry now.
That's what I'm saying. It's real talk though, but like. I think the key word that you said there, man, is like you got to balance it, right? And
it's important.
And I also did the same thing. I went veggie for a while, came back, and I'm eating meat as well. Currently, at the time I'm right now, but the key is balancing across all facets of life. And you're never gonna do it in one go. This is the thing. I think a lot of people think I just need to balance my life. I need to get my times right. I need to get my food right. I'm just all over the place. And it's just like that's fine. No one's perfect.
Exactly.
But lay them out, pick out things and say, cool, right, let's start with diet. What am I eating? What am I not eating? Let me try and adjust those things. And then to set up a decent routine that's basically streamlines itself. So I'm going to eat 3, 4, 5 things, these things a week. If there's variation, cool. But at least you now have a little bit of a plan.
Exactly. There's apps that can help you as well.
Exactly.
My Fitness app.
It's a good one.
A lot of people use that.
I use that.
Just to find out what kind of how many calories you're taking in and stuff like that. It's important, like
it is.
Knowing what the more precise you can be with everything, the quicker you'll see those results.
That's it.
And the more consistent as well, you'll definitely see results quick, man. Like I know, do you know what funny thing is? I know if I wanted to transform my body, I know how long I need to stay consistent for on a certain meal plan. and I can transform my body within a certain amount of time. Do you know what I mean? If I want to be ripped by carnival, I know what I need to do,
and what you got to eat.
Exactly, too. I know what I need to do. I know what I got to eat, and that's only like 2 months away. Do you know what I mean? I know what I need to do if I want to do that. Not to say I want to do it. I'm just saying that.
If you wanted to,
exactly. If I wanted to, you just got to do it for that mindset. Do you know what I mean?
And I would, that's another good one as well. Like for the people that are planning on, getting their body in shape for a certain thing. Sometimes that can be a good motivation. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, don't do it just to go on holiday. Don't do it just to do this." And it's just like, I get that. You shouldn't do that if it's going to be your primary goal all of the time. Because then what happens is you keep repeating the same thing. Whereas if sometimes you need a little bit of motivation, a little bit of a push. Like, use it.
Exactly.
Use that. You want to go carnival, you want to go on holiday, you want to go somewhere, and you want to look good.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone make you feel bad.
Like, oh, you want to look good for your holiday?
Yes, I do.
Like, I
want to look bad. Yeah, I want to look bad.
I'm trying to have that belly and stuff. Like, come on, man.
I want to be running on the beach and it's just bouncing.
Yeah, innit?
Use it as motivation, man. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about what you want to do and what you want to do it for. Do you know what I mean?
100%. But yeah, like you said, that it's got to be made a lifestyle. So anything that becomes a passion and is a career path, that just add it into make it a lifestyle. But yeah, bro, like before we start, we tie this off and wrap this up. I really would like, because we're only touching the surface here, man.
Oh, trust me, man.
We're gonna have many more conversations 100%. On this platform as time goes along, because we've got a lot more to get into. But I always like to give the people some form of words of wisdom, because it's always nice to just, like I said, if you see that young Calvin out there who's up and coming, or he's looking, he's like, he wants to do something creative and doesn't know essentially what steps or what places to go, or even just how to act and operate. Like, kind of words of wisdom would you give for that next young person coming up, bro?
Oh, that is a good question, man. I mean, for me, I'm gonna use myself as an example.
Of course.
Growing up, I would say what helped me is that never give up and keep carving away at the person that you want to be. Do you know what I mean? They're in there. You just need to find it. Model. Exactly. It's it's a sculpture. You start with a block of clay. You need to carve away those little pieces to find the person that you want to be. Do you know what I mean? Down the line. And I think that you're not going to complete it no time soon, but you keep carving. Don't stop. Like we said earlier, don't get complacent, don't get stagnant. Make sure you keep pushing forward, and the avenues you may approach a lot of dead ends, but turn back, learn from it, and go the next route. Do you know what I mean? You need to just keep finding it. You will come across like obstacles and stuff like that, but you'll get over it and you'll become a better person from it. 100%.
That's deep. I mean, sometimes it's simple and clear information is the best, bro. Like,
absolutely.
Sometimes we try to be too clever with our advice, but the reality is, what I like to think of it is like just providing that option, that branch of support or advice. Because from the outside looking in, I imagine my younger version of myself, it's like we said, bro, we didn't have these things, man. We had SYPC. We did have good. I don't want to make out like we didn't have nothing. We had a very strong community in the Slough area from different community groups. We used to have like fetes, festivals, all sorts of stuff going on. But today, with the advent of technology, we've now got the things in place to broadcast those messages,
and you can get it from younger.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You don't have to go to uni to learn what I've learned, because I can give it to you.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean?
That's the difference.
And I don't mind sharing that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? There are people that aren't going to be able to go to uni, but there are people like me that did go, and I'll be able to share those same very skills with you, and you'll be able to achieve what I've achieved and more. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like all you need to do is ask the question.
That's it.
Just ask the question, man. Bro. Simple. Like,
and that's I'm glad that you said that as well, man, because that's like, give yourself a pat on the back for the selflessness, because I think a lot of times we talked about this before we jumped on here, like people are very nervous to give away who they are, and they're tentative to like share things because they're like, oh, someone's gonna teeth that.
Someone's going to teeth that. Someone's going to like, you know, take what they have been working for and like their opportunities and stuff like that. No, but you should, as we said, have an abundant mindset. You know what I mean? There's enough to go around in this world, man. Like, you know, like the riches in the world are handled by a small group of people, but if they shared it amongst everyone, everyone would be well off. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, there's enough to go around. Honestly, there is. 100%. It's just tapping into those avenues, man. That's what it's about.
That is so true, bro. I mean, let's round this off because I mean, we could literally sit here and we got too much to give to the people. Real talk. You know, when you got too much to give. Like, listen, we are out here with the too much to give, but we'll break it down because I think it's important sometimes you break these things down, you don't overwhelm, and you allow the people to see that, hey, we're like, this isn't just a one and done thing. Like, we're here for the duration, and we're here to, you know, sustain, build, grow, evolve, and bring people on board that journey, man. Like this, I call this a family. Like, this is the After You family, and anyone who comes on this network is people that I know, trust, have worked with, and even if you aren't one of those people, you know, please don't feel like you can't reach out. You know, don't feel like, you know, I don't really know them, so like, but if you're interested, you see what's going on, send us a message, man. Like, we're the kind of people that are open-minded enough that can actually share something that can maybe change a perspective in your head, or give you a new perspective that can help you move in the direction you're looking to go in. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, Gavin, I've got to get you back on here soon, man. Like,
100%, man.
Hopefully close to around well, we got a few, because I'd like to get you back on so that we could talk more in depth about, like, you know, the artwork itself. And then maybe we can even show off a few examples of work that you've done.
No, absolutely, man.
And then,
happy to be back.
We got to touch on as soon as our production comes out. Oh my
yeah, we definitely got to talk about that one, man.
That's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be big for like the culture, big for the town, because I see that as bigger than us, man.
Nah, real talk.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so gassed about it, because it's a huge achievement. For us.
Like, but I think, as we said, just growing up, being able to watch movies and, you know, idolize working with these people and stuff like that, to be able to do that, it's been surreal. And you know, we have to, you have to big up yourself, man. Real talk, because
that's what I'm saying. It's hard out here.
It is hard out here, man. Like, there's people that will, kill for our opportunities.
That's
and
it, bro.
You gotta be grateful. Exactly. You gotta be grateful, man. Absolutely.
Oh no, 100%, bro. Calvin, bro.
Nah, man. Thanks for having me, though. What? My guy.
Listen. Go and follow my guy, please. Where can I find you on socials, bro?
You can find me on Instagram at Calvin Ruan and at Calvin Ruan _art. Strictly my art page. And I'm on Facebook, Calvin Ruan, as well.
Please follow my guy, man. Honestly, like, that's what it's about. Like, we're just building that family one by one, just bringing people onto the platform that, you know, just passionate about what they do, and you can obviously see that from when we sit down and have these conversations. And I think that is the real key, because if we can just inspire one of those little youths out there, like male or female, doesn't really matter, who is looking towards creating something, being artistic, being in an artistic lane. You need examples.
No, you do.
And it's easy to have examples from America, from other parts of the world, but with us, we're from a small town.
Exactly.
So
when it's on your doorstep, it hits home more.
That's what I'm saying. Because you can just see, that's where he lives at. Utterly. Is he not from Symphony? I swear to God. Do you know what I mean? It brings you closer, man. Like,
we're Britwell boys.
So, do you know what I mean? Oh, bro, I'm all about it, man. And that's what's great about this, bro. Like, getting to highlight and showcase week by week to the audience that, like, bro, he's from Slough, and he's doing that, and he worked on that. And then as you see the picture develop, you start stepping away from, okay, you can't really say that Slough really got nothing. Like, they've got quite a lot of creative people, you know. Then it comes like, okay, what can we do now?
Exactly. What can we produce as a community?
That's it.
That's the next step, people.
That's it.
That's the next step.
That's where we're coming.
We're
coming. That's gonna be. Don't worry about that. We've got plans. But step by step in it, bro.
Exactly, man. One step at a time.
But yeah, man. Honestly, it's been a blessing, bro, to have you on, man.
That's good, man. It's good. Honestly, I'm happy to be here, man.
Trust me.
I love what you're doing as well, man. This is amazing, honestly.
Appreciate it, brother. Honestly, I love it. I love It's just about having a passion first, isn't it?
Absolutely, man. And you can say that you had me on my first podcast as well.
Listen, big Calvin, the first one, you know. Maybe the second or third as well, too.
Yeah,
like
100%.
As I said, like, if this builds in and you get to, you know, get invited on other things and get to push your name out there, that's what it's about, bro. Like, this ain't no stagnant thing where we're trying to, like, hold you over here and you got to come on my team. Nah, man. No.
We're pushing each other.
It's a natural energy. We push each other. We motivate each other. And, you know, hopefully we'll see each other's names up on the lights one day.
Oh, we are going to, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, we are.
Big facts. But yeah, people, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. Breakdown with my guy Calvin, man. Like, doing some incredible work. Like, not just behind the scenes, but like it said, if you're walking in around Slough and you see some of the murals, he's done some amazing murals so far that are still up. You said there's still 4 up at the moment. So, but yeah, check out his Instagram pages. I'll put all the descriptions in there for you to find my guy. And yeah, we're just gonna keep growing, man. Just keep growing and evolving.
That's it.
And inspiring the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, until the next episode, like, share, subscribe, send this to someone who's passionate about, you know, the film industry, 3D art, illustration, and just art and creativity in general. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, we will catch you on the next episode.
Take care.
Peace and love.